Hey, chances are you're probably pretty familiar with OTT already. Honestly, if you've been making music for any amount of time, I'd be kind of surprised if you've never used it. Especially if you're in the game of making like big, chunky EDM bangers. Generally, because that's usually what it's associated with. Unfortunately though, I suck at making music that slaps, so most of the stuff that I do is more in the chill out kind of realm, maybe. I don't really know what I make, to be honest. But one way or another, I use a lot of pianos. And I'm not joking when I say that. I have way too many piano libraries compared to all the other plugins I have. And I especially seem to like pianos with a lot of felt and mechanical noises to them. To me, they just sound very pretty and fragile. Which is exactly what you don't think of when you're staring at this thing. But hear me out. Squishing the hell out of the things is often a good thing. But just like this slightly malformed JPEG of Mume, I can only show it for so many seconds before it's no longer funny. And OTT on pianos kind of works the same way. Adding a little bit on top can enhance those fragile and pretty mechanical qualities the piano already has, but too much of it is probably gonna come out sounding like shit! My favorite library to do this with is probably Noir, which is made by Native Instruments, specifically because the felt variant has a lot of those mechanical, well, felt qualities I mentioned earlier. A lot of other piano libraries will also work pretty well for this, but if you don't have any, you could go digging around for some free alternatives if you want. Although it's not really a exaggerated felt piano, I suppose, the free Spitfire Labs soft piano is pretty awesome if you want to check that out. I'll probably throw something in the description for that. I don't know, I might forget. At any rate, usually I like to mix in about 10 to 20% of the wet signal on OTT when I throw it on a piano. 20% or more might be pushing it a bit, but it's totally worth trying to if you want to. Generally speaking though, less is more with this. Think of using OTT as more of a saturation plugin for this as opposed to a compressor. OTT tends to bring out the high end in things when you slap it on something, which is perfect in this case because we're looking to pull out the felt and mechanical noises we find on these kinds of pianos. And it also has a bit of a different sound compared to just turning up that one sound on its own. I personally really like the effect, but you can totally be the judge of that. Here's a before and after of what my results sounded like. It's a little less dull and a bit clearer in my opinion. In some cases, it'll sound a little bit harsher on its own, but in the context of a mix, it's a pretty good helper if you want an otherwise deep and mellow sounding piano to stand out a little bit, especially if you don't want to change its qualities too much. It also really brings out the percussive elements in the felt too, which can add another rhythmic layer of interest to a track. Oh, and if you didn't know for some reason, OTT is free, so if you haven't picked it up yet, go do that. Just Google it or something, I don't know. It was one of the first plugins I ever ended up getting, and it's helped me in a weird way since, as you can tell. Anyways, this was a bit of a new kind of video for me, so if you liked it, let me know. Hopefully I didn't scare you off with my horrible sense of humor. And if you have any feedback too, throw it in the comments there, because I'd really be pretty grateful to know how I can improve these kinds of videos in the future. Otherwise, you can spam me on Twitter here and, I don't know, listen to my stuff on Spoofy and all those other funny places down there if you want. But anyways, that's it for now. Bye bye.